let's set up a Mummy and Me mini session where you can book multiple sessions in one booking day. In this case, I'm going to set up 2 days worth of shoots just to show you various options. Okay, so the first thing we have to make sure we have set up are the price lists with packages and products and any items you need in there with all the pricing. Any discounts that you're going to apply, they should be pre-set up. We also need to have the contracts written and ready to go because you're going to link to that. And finally, you need any questionnaires written and ready to go. So we need to set up an invitation. An invitation is a way to check your calendar, to book something onto your calendar by checking whether you have any available slots. That is set up under settings and under users, under your user, and syncing it with Google. At the moment, you can only link it to Google. Okay, so we are going to set up a Mummy Issues and Me mini session. Okay, over here we've got the brand. For me, it's going to be Gauss Photography. Availability, you'll see how we've got grey. This is in the past, and this is in the future. White is available, grey is not available. So what we're going to say is, we're going to specify dates that this event is going to happen on. For this particular example, I'm going to choose the future. I'm going to go the 13th and the 14th of April, and you'll immediately see that this has turned grey. Over here we have 2 whites, and it wouldn't matter how far into the future I go, it's going to stay grey. Now we're going to add time slots. Now I could do 9 to 5, go add this day, and we're done. However, this doesn't allow me to have a break in the middle of the day. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go 9 until 12, update, and then I'm going to add a new one, which is going to be from 1 until 5. And I'm going to add it to this day only. This is now forcing the system to give me a 1-hour break in the middle of the day. I can set that to half an hour, I can set it to whatever I want, but I want to program this in because when I go to advanced availability and I set the maximum number per day, if I were to change this to 8, for example, between 9 and 5, there are 8 1-hour slots. 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, and 4. The 5 p.m. that we list here is the end of the last slot that is potentially available. If I leave this to 8, it makes no difference. I could set this to 800 because the system doesn't physically have enough slots in the day to fill that. That is equivalent to just putting no limit in. In our instance, we can put 7. It actually won't matter because I'm going to set a 1-hour time slot for each of these events. In fact, I'm going to go with a half-hour time slot for each of these because they're mini sessions, which now means that there are, in fact, 14 sessions that could happen in one day. If I were doing 9 to 5 without a break, it would be 16 because there are 8 hours, half-hour slots. That makes 16. In this case, we have 7 slots, so it's 14. Down here, how many days before are we going to allow them to book? Right now, they would be allowed to book for the Tuesday on the Monday, and they would be able to book for the Wednesday on the Tuesday because it's 1. I'm going to say I want you to book at least a week in advance. So for the Tuesday, you have to book on the Tuesday, and for the Wednesday, you have to book on the Wednesday. Because there are no time slots available in this here, I'm going to add a time slot. Interestingly, I am going to do it this way. I'm not going to schedule a break into this one, and I'll show you why shortly. Down here, we are not doing a group session. We are doing a one-to-one session. A group session would be multiple people turning up for exactly the same time slot. So if I wanted 5 people to turn up at 10 o'clock, and it was a first come, first serve for a 1-hour period, and I literally served them as they showed up, then we would do a group and we would allow 5 people to book in. Because I'm only allowing 1 person to book in for any one half-hour time slot, we use a one-to-one session. Also, make sure your time zone set. This is set under settings, so this should be correct. Advanced availability, we've already set the available per day. Over here, we are going to leave this as 30 minutes because we want them to be able to book in on the hour every 30 minutes, on the hour every 30 minutes. If this was 15, it would be 0, 15, 30, 45, and on the hour again. If we set this to 60 minutes, it's going to be on the hour only. We can set this to any number we want. We could set this to 5-minute increments, in which case it would be 0, 5, 10, 15, 20, etc., all the way through. And it would really make the booking process look horrible because you would have so many available slots in a 60-minute period. And since you've got 8 hours or 7 hours available, that was not how we want this to look. Okay, down here we have buffer before and buffer afterwards. The buffer afterwards is how many minutes after the event has finished can the next event be booked in. Now, we're going to set this to 5 minutes, which means that we have 25 minutes left in our 30-minute increment. So on the next page, under date length, we're going to set this to 25 minutes. This number plus this number plus this number should be equal to this number. Otherwise, you're going to limit the number of sessions that you can have, in which case you won't be able to fit 14 in. If I were to put anything other than 0 here when this is 5, I will not be able to ever book 14 sessions in a day. It will just prevent me. It doesn't matter, however, if this is 5 and that is 0, it is these two added together plus that equals this. So I'm going to go after 5 minutes. This calendar system here, this is where it checks your availability. Now, I happen to have a calendar scheduler which checks my personal calendar. These are everything I do with my wife. So anything she adds in that doesn't tell me about, the system will know about it before I do sometimes. We want to have this set to all users, and that's all good. Okay, finally, on this page here, we've got manually approve. We will come back to this on the wording of the welcome message. If you set this to manually approve, you need to have your wording to say you are almost booked. If you have this set to auto approve, you must have this. You have your wording set to you are booked, because auto approves it, in which case they are booked in. Manually approve means you have to confirm. They will request a date and time, and you have to say yes or no. That date and time is still blocked out. It's like penciling in your diary. It's written there. You can overwrite it. You can get rid of it, but it's there. Okay, so mommy and me mini session with, and then who is the person. The notes, this is like if I'm going to organize a consultation session and I want to stick my my Zoom ID login details here so that they can log on to it without me having to send it to them subsequently. And this is the address. This is where the event is going to happen. Where are you coming to? For a mini session, I would assume that you're going to have a fixed address. You're not going to be traveling around. If you are going to be traveling around, you are definitely going to want these to be different, in which case there is no way you're going to be able to do 14 in a day. And the last step is to go under communication, except we don't need to do anything here. So we need to make sure that there is nothing attached. And when you have an invitation that is attached to a booking form, you do not want a questionnaire or welcome message attached. If you are going to use an invitation specifically on your website just to allow somebody to book a consultation with you without any other information, you might attach a questionnaire to this, and you might want to attach a welcome message just so they know what they're booking in for. Finally, under the share option, we're going to make sure that this link is similar to this, looks good, because if we decide to embed this on its own, this is the text that we are going to use. Then we're going to hit save. That is done. That's all we need to do for invitations. We're then going to jump to booking pages. Booking pages and booking proposals are essentially exactly the same. The difference is a booking page is linked to on a website or is sent directly to a dozen people, 100 people, 1 million people. It makes no difference. A booking page is not unique to a person or a lead. A booking proposal, on the other hand, let me go into a test one here. This is a booking proposal. This is specific. This booking proposal is specific to this test lead and this contact here. So let's go back to the booking page, which is a generic. This is for anybody. I'm going to add a new one. Be aware, when we add a questionnaire down here, make sure you've published it first. If you have not published and saved, you will lose various fields on this page. So do not add either an invitation or a questionnaire without publishing and doing everything else first. Okay, so we're going to rename this Mummy and Me mini session. We're not going to apply a template because I haven't got a template for a Mummy and Me. What I am going to do, scroll down, I'm going to go to digital price list for this instance. The offering, I'm going to select a package, Mummy and Me session. I did not set up a la carte items, but what I can do is I'm just going to add the session fee again. Imagine that this says an album or a book or digital images, or it's whatever else you sell that they can purchase on top of purchasing the session itself. So this is just something extra that is not included in this session package. Okay. Down here we have the single payment schedule. If we were to pick on payment schedule and we click add payment schedule, you'll see an error message. You cannot add a payment schedule with a shoot date in it because there is no shoot date specified. You haven't specified a shoot date because we don't know anything about this person, because a booking page doesn't know anything about the lead. It doesn't know who the person is. It doesn't know where they live. It doesn't know what date they want. It doesn't know anything at all. So when we look at this, I can't select these two because these two payment schedules are based on the time and date that something occurs. All I can do is choose 100% upfront. The only reason I created this is so that I could show the fact that it exists. 100% upfront is exactly the same as having single payment. Okay, if I were to go over to invitation, I could add an invitation. I'm not going to do that just yet. What I am going to do first is I'm going to, for this particular instance, turn off coupons. I'm going to go onto my payment methods. I'm also going to turn off payment methods that are not automatic. These two, they go off to PayPal, they go off to Stripe. They immediately authorize the amount of money that is being requested, in this case, 125 plus any a la carte items they select, takes the payment, confirms that payment straight back to Sprout and marks it as paid. In New York City, if you're not selling goods, it is no tax, so I will set that to none. Over here, email link to shoot. I want to send an email because I want them to know about their My Portal. I want them to know exactly where to find their information. Up the top where we have the contract. We are going to add a contract. We want them to sign the contract. So we're going to go GSP portrait contract with COVID. This is everything I need for my clients to sign. I can edit this, do whatever I want. For example, I might wish to move that to the end of there if I wish. So I can edit this. Be really nice if I didn't keep making mistakes. Let's edit this like this. Okay. This does not affect the original template. This only affects it within this booking page. It does not go back to my contract template and adjust it at all. Finally, on this page for the moment, all we're going to do is we're going to adjust the link. So we're going to say Mummy. Unfortunately, we have to put hyphens in on this page. It does not do that for me. Mummy and Me mini session. We have to hit the update button. If you don't hit this update button and you move away, you will lose that. I am now going to publish this because, as I said before, if I adjust these down here, it will refresh the page and lose all of the settings that we just made. So you will lose the title, the tax, the coupons. Has that finished? That has finished. Okay, so we're going to turn off allow coupons, and I'm going to demonstrate that to you. We're now going to add a questionnaire. Pops open a new window. In this particular instance, I'm going to go for a phone consultation. This is not correct for this particular type of event, but it doesn't really matter. All I want is a questionnaire linked in there. Okay, I'm going to get rid of these. Who will be attending the mini session? All right, let's save that. Let's also go here. Tell me about your session. That's cool. That'll do. Let's chat. Let's make some memories. We can say whatever we want. This is the button that's going to go here. Right, I'm going to now save that. The one mistake I did make here is you'll notice how, because I copied it from something else, the questionnaire is called phone consultation. So we're going to go back in and we're going to correct this. And we're going to call this Mummy and Me questionnaire. This becomes important later on because when you're looking at things, you want the questionnaires to look the way you want them. You'll notice that, You'll notice that, remember when I turned the coupons on or turned it off? Because I added the questionnaire, it overrode this button here being turned off because I hadn't published it again. If I now go to the add the invitation, this is the really important bit. This is what makes this go away. Okay, so under invitation, we need to schedule the shoot date, and we are specifically going to choose the Mummy and Me mini session. Save. That's done. Okay, add a payment schedule. You'll notice the message is gone, and now I can choose $150 deposit and then balance by the day. You can reserve the date if you know that this is going to be really busy, really a lot of people are going to want to book this. You've got 14 sessions, but you're going to send this to 200 people. You could turn a timer on, which then says you've got 10 minutes from selecting your date and time to check out. This is the exact same way that things like Ticketmaster work. When you go on there and you pick your tickets, you pick your seats, you've got usually, I think it's 7.5 minutes from selecting your seat to paying before that seat is released back into the wild and somebody else can take it. In this case, it's set to 10 minutes at the moment. You can set it to 7 or 5, whatever you want. The immediately is upon selecting the date. So what you will be, they will be shown a pop-up message that says, do you wish to confirm these dates? As soon as they hit yes to confirming the dates, it immediately reserves it in your calendar. Alternatively, that message will not appear and you can do once paid. Normally, 99% of the time, it's set to immediately. Technically, this is not a lead. It is a lead, but it's not treated as a lead. Because there is a payment system built into this, we are going to apply a shoot workflow once it has completed. So in this case, I'm going to apply the headshot shoot workflow because that's the only shoot workflow I have set up. This will immediately start sending them emails because they have booked and they have paid. If you remember when I talked about earlier the automatic versus manual, the automatic will automatically convert it to a shoot and apply this workflow. If you set it to manual, you will have to go in and you will confirm the date. Once you confirm the date, that will turn it from a lead into a shoot. But there is no point applying a lead workflow, even if it's set to manual, to this because they've already gone through the entire process. They have picked everything they need to pick. There is no interactions that need to happen from a lead workflow. The final step that we have to complete on this page is the Sprout Studio default text. We cannot have dear client name because we don't know who the client is. This is happening before they've even picked anything. So we're going to get rid of that. Okay, so welcome to our Mummy. I'm going to put the word our Mummy and Me mini session booking page. You can adjust any other text you wish in here. That is entirely up to you. Your Mummy and Me session. Okay, so I changed the title of this here. I'm just going to put that. Oh. Text. The important bit, if you remember, we talked about again the automatic versus manual. Up here it says almost booked. Almost equals manual. You're booked. Automatic. Next, I'll review and sign it myself. Once I do, is manual. Your is automatic. Your shoot is booked. Once I do something, then your shoot is booked is manual. Okay, so we're going to update this. Because we attached, if you remember, we attached this, so it has turned off a whole load of things. I need to turn this email shoot link back on again. Publish. Okay, coupons are off. Taxes none. This is correct. This is correct. Add a contract. Oops, it hadn't loaded. I just accidentally deleted my own contract. That was silly. All right, let's re-add the contract. Let's update this. It looks like when I hit publish, it didn't actually save. That was the problem. Okay, so we need to re-edit. Mummy and me mini session. I am dyslexic. Update. It's because I already created one of these previously, so let's call it 2. Okay, update. Now I can go and preview this. So we're going to check, is all the text correct on this page? It's perfect. Here we go. So you'll see how it says 25 minutes for each session. However, they are starting on the half an hour. Okay, here it's confirming the details. This button here is what this immediately is about. If I change that to once paid, it doesn't ask me to confirm. It doesn't need me to do that. Okay, Mummy and Me session. I have a $150 deposit, but the total value right now is less than $150, which is why it's $125. If I were to add, ignore the fact it's a session fee, this would be digitals, or this might be an album or something. Now it's $150 with a $100 balance remaining on the date that they pick. Next, I am going to fill in my details. I need to enter an email address. Next. This is now saving this as a new contact. It's then going to ask me the questionnaire. This is the questionnaire that we assigned right here. There's only 2 fields. Bloody blah, we're just going to fill that out. I made 1 field required and 1 field not. We've got a mistake. This is why you always test. So I've got to go back here, look. Type, I didn't specify my type up here. Let's go down and we're going to have a family mini session. Yes, I want to update the users, which is going to specify 2 users up here. Perfect. Update. I don't need to re-click this button. All I do is come back here, refresh, which will kick me back to the start. Now I'm going to re-pick my dates. I'm going to go through, and unfortunately I have to fill in everything again because I refreshed the page. Okay, we go to the next page. And now, on the contract, it says family mini session. You would want to set that to whatever you want so you would call it Mummy and Me mini sessions, for example, but that has to be set up before you go into the booking proposal. This is showing what it is they're paying for. Because there was a session fee in the package, and I added a session fee. That's why you're seeing session fee twice. Here's the payment schedule. Here are all the details. And if you remember, I moved where these buttons were. So here we go. Let's tick all 3 of those. Scroll down, and then we're just going to sign this, accept and pay, confirm my address, or I can add a new address. So this might be, so in businesses, there's often an accounting address and a head office address. For an individual, this is going to be the same address generally. Continue, and then they're just going to pay. They're going to choose whichever method it is. If they choose PayPal, continue, and then hit pay now, it will kick them to PayPal. That is everything I believe you need to know. Any questions? Do let me know. Thanks a lot.